And here we are from the Coppercoins studios in Cary, North Carolina. How you doing, Coin Junkie? If you happen to be around right now, it looks like I got 3 viewers, myself included. Bill Betts, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, we're changing the rules on how we handle the rolls, and I'm probably going to be doing more rolls so that we can get more people involved. Hello, Raymond. I changed my exposure on this camera down here so that you can see things better, so that when I hold something up to the camera, it's easier to read. So I took the gain down on it quite a bit. I took the exposure value down a little bit. Hello, Mr. Adams. So we got a few minutes before we get started. How's everybody doing today? Our weather here has been rainy pretty much all day long. Mr. Dowdle. How are you, brother? I'm going to search through here and find my... Did I put it in here or not? There it is. Right there. Paul Hampton. I see you got involved in this roll. 2, 3, 5, 6. There's 10. 15. 20. 25. Just make sure I got 50 here before I get started. There's 30. 35. There's 40. 42. 44. 46. 48. And 2 more is 50. So I got 50 coins accounted for, 50 names on cards, and I've got one card right here. And that's going to be the one when I draw it. The person who I drew before this card will get the wrapper in their package. And if I draw this card first, it goes back in the bag. Speaking of bag, here we are right here. This is our draw bag. I'm going to go ahead and put everything in there. Shake it up real good. And we'll go ahead and open our roll. Go ahead and change my camera view so that I can see what I'm doing here. There we go. How about that? Now I can actually see. I may have to focus the camera once I get involved here. I'm going to get this open. This is becoming really fun, dealing with looking through rolls and doing auctions and getting prepared for auctions and stuff like that. This is a living that I could never ask for, honestly. I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I do it. Get this little thing here was on the end of the roll. And there we go. There's the wrapper, and here's the coins. And they're nice and shiny coins, it appears. And hopefully we've got 50 of them. That's on the bank. All right, so coin number 1. Penny in the house. Miss Penny Parent. First coin goes to Levels of Madness. You guys can actually read this camera right here. This one, right down here. Works a lot better now. Levels of Madness gets the end coin on the roll. Let's see what happens. Hey, look at that. It's an RPM. What do you know? RPM first out. Looks... Penny, what do you think? Coin number 1, RPM. Let's dig in real tight and look at it. You think it's in the 60s? It's north RPM, north spread. Looks nice. So I will make sure that I make note of this and put it in a pile, and I'm going to try to keep them all together so that they're easier to deal with later. Let's see what kind of marker I can come up with. A lot of north and south die scratches through the date. And we got that one real heavy die scratch through the 9 of the date. So that's going to be my marker that I'm going to use to identify this one next time around. If I remember correctly, this is one James Wiles had identified 2 different dies as the same die, and John Wexler split them apart. I believe it's RPM number 18. So this one belongs to Levels of Madness. Congratulations on the first coin in the roll. We have an RPM. How about that? So coin number 1 was an RPM. Let's look for number 2. It is 18. My memory sometimes actually works. Mr. Hampton. Paul Hampton gets our second coin. What is it? We couldn't be like so lucky as to have all 50 coins be RPMs or something. I did at one time have a roll of 1960D. It was in a tube. I got it from a rather large lot buy. It was an original roll because it had repeats of the same dies over and over. As it turned out, 48 of the 50 coins in the roll were RPMs. Robert bought an 18 last night. That's right. I did sell an 18 last night. Okay, Mr. Hampton's first coin here was a nothing. Let's see who gets to the next one. Mr. Dunn. Mr. Dunn gets... Ooh, this one is different. This one is different. It's got different markers. It's still a north RPM. This one's got like a line straight up and down in the 6. The other one was in the 9. So could this be the other one that's not number 18? Because the spread looks about the same. This is sweet. Okay, here's a couple of other markers for you. There's a really strong die scratch coming up off the I of Liberty. One through the R of Liberty. A lot of north-south die scratches throughout the face, or throughout the obverse. That's what I meant to say. The face and the back. Come on, do it the way the English do it. All right, so we've got another nice RPM there. This one is probably going to turn out to be, wow, it's Wexler 160 or Wexler number 62. I can't remember this one. This one's definitely, it appears to be a different RPM though. There you go, Mr. Dunn. You got yourself an RPM there. Okay, coins number 1 and number 3 are both RPMs. Next one goes to Mr. Dowdle. Mr. Dowdle, let's see what you got for your first coin. Not seeing anything. There's a lot of the fibers from the paper on these coins. A lot of markers for nothing. But I'm seeing nothing on this one. Get my light source turned down just a hair. See if I can anyway. Come on, light source, turn down just a little bit. There we go. I want to flash everybody to death. Had a lot of white flash going on there. That's a little bit better. You can at least see the details better. It might be a little bit too dark, but at least now you can see the details. Okay, so it does appear that we've got nothing on the obverse on this one. Let's take a look at the reverse. Yeah, we can see the details a lot better. This one's got a little struck through down there on the reverse, just below the initials. And nothing else. So we have coin number 4 in this roll to James Dowdle will be a normal coin, or likely normal. I will tell you that the 1943 roll that we went through the other day, I went back through the coins, and I was missing an RPM the entire time. And I think there were 2 or 3 of them in the roll. It's pretty nice RPM. And I was missing it. Missed it all the way through. Bingo gets the next coin. What do we have? That's a nice split serif RPM, as it appears. To make sure of that. Let's see. Let's get close and see what we've got going on here. There's definitely something there. Yeah, the upper serif is doubled quite well, as it appears. Or is that? Okay, time to get a Q-tip out. I think that's going to be something I'm going to knock right off the coin. Yep. Came right off the coin. I thought that was a split serif. Light's too dark now? Okay. Well, let me see if I can lighten it up just a little bit without doing too much. How's that? Is that a little better? Alright, let me back out and see if we don't get too much flash on it this way. See, I'm trying to avoid all that white flash. Get focused in at this level. Okay, so we've got nothing on that one. I have a false alarm there. My trusty Q-tip will catch it every time. That's what I use my Q-tips for, is to knock dust off a coin to see if I've got something there. Slow down so you can focus. Focus. Now the reason I'm going faster is because I'm doing 2 roll reveals this evening. Got another one at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, which is in less than an hour and a half. And so what I'm looking for here on the reverse is the typical thing that I'd be looking for on the reverse of a memorial. I'm looking for any notching at the corners of the letters. I'm looking for any spread toward the rim. And that spread toward the rim that you see right there is die deterioration. It's kind of a feathering of the outside edge of the letters. Shows up really well in the light because it's flow lines. Lots and lots of flow lines. Time? 7:10 p.m. Alright, so Bingo's first coin is a knot. See what we got here. Mr. Dowdle. Mr. Dowdle will take home a normal coin. No repunchment mark going on here. I'm looking for a bar underneath the L of Liberty. See if maybe there's something there. I'm looking for doubling in Liberty itself. I'm looking for doubling in the motto because there is a nice double diobverse that shows in the motto. Looking for a doubled eyelid, but most of all, I'm looking for those RPMs. 178 different listed RPMs. Reverses are not very prone to have doubled dies for 1960D. That's coin number 6 belonging to Mr. Dowdle. That's his second normal coin. These are all large date, Wild Bill. Mr. Dunn. Mr. Dunn gets the next one. And And as I crank this around, basically what I'm doing is I'm looking at the light going around in the mint mark, because sometimes what's obvious with one direction of light can disappear with a different direction of light. So I make sure I hit it with all directions of light, but not at the same time, to see what I can find. You have trouble telling the difference. Well, on a small date, the 6 would be a lot shorter, and the top of it would not come out equal with the bottom. The top of the 6 would end far short of being equal vertically up and down with the bottom of the 6 on the left or right hand side. Same thing with the 9. The 9 is also smaller, and the end of the 9 doesn't come all the way down to where it would equal the curl of the 9. The 0 is a lot smaller on a 60D small date. I don't happen to have a small date sitting around right now that I could just grab and throw in there, or I would do it. 1960 is one of the easier ones to tell a difference once you know what you're looking for. Mr. Dunn got a normal coin that time. Let's see what we got here. Mr. Dowdle comes up next. And oh, there we go. Nice little double split serif. Is that something inside the mint mark? It is. We've got a line on the inside of the mint mark too. So, let me zoom in on this one. Penny Parent, get your abilities ready. Get your spidey senses together. We're going to look at an RPM. Look at that. Get that lighting just a little brighter there. We got a double split upper serif and lower serif, and we have a bar through the middle of the mint mark. It is a good roll so far. This is our third mint mark. Third different RPM out of this roll. Let's see, positioning's a little closer to the 9 than it is to the 6. It's slightly left of center. There's your split serifs. And now that you've seen it pretty well, oh, there's another line. So this is a triple S. Here, let me close this door. I got a lot of family. A lot of family fun drama going downstairs, dog barking, and everybody's hooping and hollering, and somebody's on the phone having a great time. See, there's a line next to the vertical bar, and then there's a line further in. So there's 2 mint marks there. Well, there's a lot going on with this one. Very nice. Zoom back out. Let's hope we see more of these. Let's turn this way and see that line again. Yeah, see, with this, it's almost difficult to see that line because of the lighting. It's just too bright. That's why I had it turned down. Now I can see it easier. Let's get a marker. Oh, there we go. These are always so easy to get markers from. Really long die scratch going from the bottom all the way up to the middle of the R in Liberty. A little bit of a struck through there. There's some strong east and west die scratches. No doubled eyelid. We got a lot of die scratches on this. A lot of die scratches. But that one is a marker. That's a good marker right there. Hey, Hoover. All right. That's coin number 8. Mr. Dowdle got himself a nice repunch mint mark there. Finally scored one in this roll. All right. So let's see who gets coin number 9. Coin number 9 will be Mr. Adams. Robert Adams. Let's see what we get on this one. That's another one of, that's the second of the North RPMs I was finding, because it doesn't have the heavy line going through the 9. So that's another one of those nice. This one's 18. Okay, so then the other one's not 18. Okay, because we have another one that looks very similar to that, and it's this right here. It's a very similar RPM, but the markers are completely different. There you go. And what I was using for the marker on this one was that heavy die scratch in the middle of the 9. That, and also we don't have any fresh die scratches going through the date like we do with this other one. So this other one is going to be the same die as coin number 3 in the roll. We've got a number of heavy die scratches running through the date area and a nice North repunch mint mark. So I goes Mr. Adams. Let's take a really quick look at the reverse. I'm going to go real quick on the reverses here, because reverses we don't generally expect to see much of anything on 1960D. So this is going to be a long video the way it is. That's coin number 9 for Mr. Adams. That's going to go in stack number 2. Screenshot, screenshot. Levels of Madness gets the next one. And this is another RPM. This one is like the third RPM I pulled. It's got the 2 lines in the middle. It's got the split lower serifs, and it's going to have a long die scratch under the R. Right there. So this is our third different repunch mint mark, second example of this one. Look at the reverse real quick. And this one belongs to Levels of Madness. This is the way I like these to go. I like these to go in such a way that you're getting nice coins, you're getting nice repunch mint marks, and you didn't have to pay a lot for them. These are actually getting it far below the general price for repunch mint mark for 1960D. Okay, next one. Mr. Adams. Again, Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams will get... Okay, so we can expect this once in a while. We've got a normal coin. I do believe we have a normal coin here. Not seeing anything there. Not seeing anything there. Not seeing anything up here. I'm looking at Trust and the Eye. Nothing there. Let's look at the reverse. Okay. Inside the last, next to the last bay, we have a long die scratch. So I want to try to remember that. So the next time I flip a coin over and look at the reverse, if I see the same thing I see on this one, which appears to be nothing, then I know I've got a nothing die. And that nothing die belongs to one that has long die scratches coming up out of the B and the E. A whole lot of long die scratches on the obverse. Okay. There we go. We got a really heavy one coming up out of the 6-0 in the date. So this will be a normal one. And it goes to Mr. Adams. But we at least have a marker so that we know next time when we hit one of these that we've got, well, one of these. All right, Mr. Adams gets the next coin. Let's see what Mr. Adams gets. And with bated breath, we look. We see that long die scratch, the heavy die scratch out of the 6-0 there. And that's going to match up with the last coin that I just pulled. There, your long die scratches out of the BE going diagonal. And on the reverse, we should expect to see a die scratch inside the second to the last bay. Right there. So we're getting our memory together, keeping dies separated from one another, the knowledge of which die is which, so we can start going a little bit faster as we get through them. By the time we get to the end, we should pretty much expect what we're seeing. Know one die from the next, if we're keeping our memory together on that. So Mr. Adams gets 2 coins in a row, and both of them belong to the same die. Oh, Mr. Adams gets another coin. Let's see what Mr. Adams gets this time. Hopefully not the same die again. Nope. This one is the second north RPM that I was finding. Does not have the line through the 9 of the date. We're unsure as to whether this one is number 18 or whether the other one is number 18, but one of the two is. Let's see if they've changed any of the reverses on us here. 1960D is not especially known for changing reverses without changing obverses. Now this one is that RPM, and we can be sure that that's what we've got because we've got a really heavy die scratch running from the top of the building to the eye, going in that direction and going in that direction. We've also got one going up to the D. So there's a lot of markers on this. This is going to be... No, it doesn't have a hook, Penny. No hook. Nothing there that I can see except a north on the inside. And as I remember it, the two dies that were very similar to one another that Kaneka had misidentified as being the same die, if you do an overlay on the mint marks, you'll actually find the mint marks in almost exactly the same spot. All right, Mr. Dunn gets the next one. We're finished with Mr. Adams for just a moment here. And let's see what we've got. Mr. Dunn gets a $1960D Lincoln Cent. Nothing special do I see. Okay, I'm not seeing my marker for my one normal die, which would be that long die scratch out of the 6 and 0. But this one has darn near a split open skull. So we can see that there's a lot of die cracks in the head on this one. Now, I just had the best pizza for dinner. It was over in Chapel Hill, which is where University of North Carolina is. It was on the main street, Franklin Street, right there in front of the campus. There's this little restaurant that's run by 2 Italian brothers. They make some of the best Sicilian pizza I've ever seen. They're from Naples, Italy. They know their stuff. Okay, so Mr. Dunn got a normal coin with a nice die crack in the hair. Let's see what we got next. Back to Mr. Adams. Well, pretty persistent about drawing his name. Let's see if we can be pretty persistent about giving him a nice RPM. Oh, this one's got that die scratch coming out of the 6 and 0. So that's going to be a normal coin. There's your 2 heavy die scratches coming out of the BE. And then inside that second to the last bay on the reverse, we're going to have a die scratch going north and south right there. So we know this one is another normal coin for Mr. Adams. That's the third one from this die that he has pulled out of this roll. Sorry, brother. Just bad luck. Let's see who comes next. Bingo Brian. Let's see what Bingo gets out of here. Well, it looks like Bingo gets the second. Nope. It's the third die that we were finding. It's got the line in the center of the D. It's got two lines in the center of the D. And it's got split serifs. Hello, Charles Ferraro. And there you go. There's your die scratch going from the bottom of the coin all the way up to the R of Liberty. And beyond. And beyond! And so this is the third RPM that we found in the roll, and this would be the third example of the third RPM. Congratulations, Bingo Brian. So far we've pulled 3 different RPMs out of this roll. We've got that one with the split serifs and the bar going north and south through the mint mark. And then we've got 2 north RPMs that almost look the same, except that they've got very different markers. Mr. Dowdle gets the next coin in the roll. Mr. Dowdle pulls yet a different repunchment mark. Look at that. That would be sweet. That little hook thing down below the mint mark, that's actually a fiber sitting on the coin. Let me knock that off real quick. You can see better what we're doing. There we go. Okay, well, let me zoom in on this and see how many serifs we have down there. That's a really thick lower half of that mint mark. Looks like it has a little bit of hit damage, but it appears to be 3 serifs on the bottom there. I still don't have a flashlight. Let me try to bring it up this way. You can easily see 2. There could be a third serif in there, but I can easily see the 2. How many dies does one mint use in a year? Well, it depends on the mintage and the year, but 1960 in Denver, I suspect they used close to 300 different dies. 300 different obverse dies. And 300 different reverse dies most likely too. But they did not necessarily come and go in pairs. We know that. All right, so that's coin number 17. It's going to be a 4th different repunch mint mark. Congratulations, sir. Levels of Madness gets the next coin in the roll. Oh, we're like really, really, really close to everything here. We just like being close. Okay, I can't do this. Average lifespan of a die is about 200,000 to 250,000 coins. That's if you take it from the very beginning to the very end. But there are a number of different die varieties for which we only know. Ah, there we go. It's a normal coin because we have that die scratch right there. There's a number of different die varieties for which we only know of half a dozen to 2 dozen in existence. And then they just kind of drop off the face of the earth. There's your die scratch right there. So we know this one is a normal. And Levels of Madness gets one of Robert's coins. As Robert's been taking all these out of this roll. I'm sure he'd trade it to you. Oh, let's see what we got next. Bingo. Bingo gets the next coin. And Bingo gets... That's another one of those with the line going through the center of the D. Right there. We could tell for sure we got that if we've got our long die scratch at the R, which we do. So this is the 4th example of the 3rd repunch mint mark of this roll. I have no idea how I keep all that together in my head, but I do. That belongs to Bingo Brian. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, we have 4 of them. How I did that. Next in line is Mr. Dunn. Let's see what Mr. Dunn gets. Mr. Dunn. What is this? Is it? It is an RPM. That is yet a different, as it appears. That is yet a different RPM. Look again. It looks like I've got split serifs going on here. I've got a thick bottom with what looks like a split in the upper serif. We turned it around so that the light is showing into the serifs. Now we can actually see that. Right there, there is a large split upper serif. Let's zoom in on this. Take a good close look. Even if we do run it right up to the time, I'm going to have to prep a little bit for the next roll reveal. You see a little bit of another vertical bar right there at the bottom part of the mint mark. So this one's probably going to be a tilted. But this is yet a different RPM. So this is our 5th different RPM out of this roll. This one's going to be distinguishable by the long die scratch that comes up out of the 9 of the date right there. Maybe not as much as, let's see, well, in this direction I don't see much, but there's a strong die scratch under the D. Let's see what we have over here. Oh, there's a couple of nice strong die scratches. One running up to the R and one coming out of the top of the T. Doesn't appear to be any die cracks in the head. There's no doubling. Ooh, there's a heavy die scratch under the D, 2 of them, under the D of God. More out here in the front field. So we definitely haven't seen this die before. There's a good image of your other vertical right there. You've got one going straight up and down. You've got one that actually comes out a little bit at the bottom. And on the reverse, since we haven't seen a reverse of one of these, this is a late die state reverse. You can see that because of all this feathering coming out off the edge of the coin, off the edge of the lettering toward the rim. All that feathering right there tells you got a lot of die wear. There's a real heavy die scratch coming into the bottom of the M. Right there. Little X below the AM. Got plenty of markers on this one. So it's a nice little double split serif, or actually single split serif. I didn't really see much of anything on the top. This is going to be the 5th different repunch mint mark for this roll. This is really taxing my ability to keep everything separated. Die scratches are caused by polishing on the die. This one goes to Bingo Brian. Yeah, when they see something that they don't like on the die, they polish it. And if they polish it too heavily with an abrasive, then they cause die polishing. This is that very first RPM that we found in the roll. It's a north RPM, and it's got that little mark going straight through the middle of the 9. So this goes back to the first RPM. So this is the second example of the first RPM that we found in the roll. And this one goes to Bingo Brian. What did the first one go to? That was Levels of Madness. So we've got 2 different people getting one of these now. There's your marker, the heavy die scratch coming off the bottom of the T, and a few others going north from the T, and then that die scratch in the middle of the 9. Let me flip it over and see what we got on the reverse. Mid to late die state, no doubling. What you see right there that looks like it could be doubling is that's an artifact of reflection. You have the rim actually reflecting back onto the bevels of the letters. And so you've got the top edge of the letter, and you've got the top surface of the letter, and then the edge that has light reflecting off of it, and it looks like doubling. But that is not doubling. That's just part of the coin. I have a lot of people who see stuff like that and think they found a doubled die, and then they report it. They'll even take a picture of it, and they report it. And I tell them, I'll go down to one light source and see what happens. Sure enough, it disappears every time. Okay, Penny Parent wants to see this one up close, so we're going to look at it up close. Looks like we have a die scratch on the outside of the D. There it is up close, Penny Parent. Let me make your light a little brighter. There you go. I don't see a baby South hook. You sure you see a baby South hook on there? I don't see it, but that's just because we're under the wrong kind of... I do see a die scratch over there. Okay. Works for me. So RPM 59. Like it. Like it, like it. That's our second one in the roll. Coin number 21. So at this point, we've been through less than half the roll. And we have 2, 5, 9, 10, 11 RPMs. Next one will go to Mr. Hampton. See what we got here. Well, what do you know? We have another one of the second North RPM found in the roll. Hard to text with pumpkin juice all over your hand. You're murdering pumpkins. Those poor pumpkins. So we got one of the second RPMs in the roll. Mr. Hampton gets himself a nice RPM. All right. That's the fourth example of that RPM that we found here. Let's see who's next. Levels of Madness. Gets... It's another one of those ones with a really fat lower serif, and it's got damage on the mint mark just like the last one did. Okay. Now look for the marker on that. The marker on that was going to be a thick and heavy die scratch going up from the 9 of the date, and we have that. And over here we had a really thick die scratch coming off the R. Right. Not that one. It was that one. So this is the fifth different RPM out of the roll. Second example of that. And this one goes to Levels of Madness. Levels, I think you've got 3 different RPMs in this roll so far. Bingo gets the next coin. Let's see what Bingo gets. Well, I don't think we have anything going on here. Oh, this one has a hook down on the bottom. This is, what is it, 61 or 66? Yep, it's got a south hook. That's going to be our 6th different RPM out of this one roll. Told you 60D is ripe with RPMs, and this one happens to be a good roll. So, yep, there's one of the nice south hooks. Let's take a look at the reverse of this one because we haven't seen it yet. Oh, yuck. There's late die state. Late die state. See how you don't... I mean, you barely even have any outside edges to the letters. They're just mushed out toward the rim. See that right there? How everything's just smeared out toward the rim? That's very late die state. Even if it was a double die, it would be hard to see. All right, so Bingo gets that one. Got to make another stack. I got 6 stacks over here now. Got 6 stacks of RPMs. This is crazy. Okay. Next in the row. Oh, who was that last person? That last person was Bingo. Bingo's going to get the wrapper on this one. So let me write bingo on this. Bingo is going to get the wrapper this time. And next, Robert Adams. Robert Adams gets the next coin. Let's see what Robert Adams gets. Let's see. Well, we have another one of the ones that has a line going through the middle of the RPM. So we've got two lines inside the RPM, then we've got split serifs. This one should have the long die scratch going up to the R, and it does. Oh, there's a little round hook coming up out of the top of the R too. I hadn't seen that one before, but it's definitely there. There you go. Okay, so this one is the third different repunchment mark out of the roll. This one's going to be the fifth example of the third different repunchment mark out of the roll. 71 or 66 on the south hook. Or is it this one that you're talking about, 71 or 66? Let's try another coin. Madding gets this one. I think this is Madding's first coin of the roll. We'll see what Madding gets. Oh, Irma Gersh. This one looks like it's normal. Yeah, normal coin. Let's check for a bar. Let's check for doubling. Let's check for a doubled I. Let's check the reverse. South hook one's either 71 or 66. Okay. Well, we have a late die state coin. We have a die crack coming up off the roof into the 9. Roof or roof, whichever way you prefer to pronounce it. Of course, with me living in Marsville, I am not really sure how to pronounce anything. Born in Missouri, I moved to Kansas as a little child, then moved back to Missouri. Then I went to Tennessee, and I grew up in Tennessee. Graduated high school in Tennessee, went in the military, and went around the world. 10 years worth of that, and living in Oklahoma, got out and went back to Missouri. From Missouri, I moved to Florida, then from Florida to North Carolina. What am I supposed to sound like? Here's Robert Adams. And Robert Adams has what appears to be a normal coin. Appears to be a normal coin. This is one of the ones with the big die crack on the head. We've seen this die before, and it was normal last time we saw it, other than the die crack. So we shall place it in a flip for Robert Adams. Everybody's getting a little bit of luck out of this. I don't think anybody's walking away with a lot. And Mr. Hampton gets the next one. Yeah, but Madding, I think you do have more than one coin, so just keep your fingers crossed. See, there we go. Paul Hampton gets himself a nice repunchment mark. This is the second north repunchment mark that we found in the roll. So for this roll, it'll be die number 2. Die number 2 out of this roll. So I don't even need to look at the reverse on this one, but we can. We can look really quick, see if there's any errors or anything big and glaring on the reverse that we need to stop and look at. But it's not a double die. And well, by nature it can't be an RPM, so we have a nice RPM on the obverse. That's all we really need. Mr. Hampton gets that one. Is that 160? And Bingo gets the next coin in the roll. My dog's sitting right outside my room. You can hear him out there licking on himself. This has got the big die scratch coming out of the 6-0, so it's going to be a normal coin. You got your two big die scratches angling up off of the BE. So this one's going to be a normal coin. That was our first spot that I've seen so far. Yep, there's your die scratch on the reverse. So that's going to be a normal coin. Sorry, bingo. It is what it is. These are all really nice coins. They grade choice gem to gem condition. We're talking about something you'd be able to get for $1 or so at a coin show. Except that these, well, they've been in these hands, and these hands know. The RPMs from the non. Bingo gets the next coin too. Let's see what Bingo has. Well, there's another one of the second north RPMs that we found in this roll. So we're definitely getting a really nice assortment of RPMs out of this. Seems like everybody's getting some luck out of here. This is one of those rolls that's, oh geez, retail value on this roll with all these RPMs has got to be over $150. Nice, nice. Hello, Miss Paula. Yeah, well, you had to eat dinner. This one goes to Bingo. Paula, we have found 6 different RPMs out of this one roll. 6 different RPMs. We're on our 6th one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th one of the second die that we found in here. Next one goes to Mr. Patat. This is his first coin out of the roll. Let's see what he gets. And Mr. Patat is going to get a long die scratch coming up out of the 9. A little spot going on above the date up there. But I don't think it's an RPM. I do not believe this to be an RPM. If it is, it's going to be the little south hook. And it's not what this is. So, is this the one that's got the 2 big die scratches? Nope. I'm not sure if I've seen this die or not, because I don't have any discernible markers that really show me. Okay, we're going to do the one from the nose to the 9. The 2 ends. Nose to the 9. And that's a normal obverse. Let's look at the reverse real quick. Late die state. As of most of the 1960 reverses are late die state. I'm not really exactly sure why. They just seem to use them a lot more than they should have. I don't really see much of anything from markers. There are some die scratches in bay 2. There's a die clash mark there above the planter in bay 3. That's that change in lightness in the center. It shows a change in relief. That change in relief is part of a clash mark. To continue the clash mark, you can see how it's really bright there in that one bay. 2 bays over from Lincoln, up near the ceiling. That is another clash mark. It's a clash mark at the bottom of his beard. Okay. You said kettle corn for the first time in a while. I should have known. See you shortly after. What, you're going to eat kettle corn now? I like kettle corn. Kettle corn's pretty good. So Mr. Patat gets a normal coin out of here. Hopefully Mr. Patat gets a better coin next time around, because he does have more in here. Mr. Hampton gets the next one, though. Let's see what Mr. Hampton gets. Mr. Hampton gets a... Is that a line through the middle of the mint mark there? No. Doesn't appear to be a line. Yeah, zoom in on this one. Where is it? That looks like it could be an RPM. What do you think, Penny? Is there an RPM? Is there a line going vertically through the middle of the D? Kind of looks like it. I think I'm going to pull this off as a maybe. And if it turns out to be a yes, Looks like an East RPM to me, too. Turns out that this is a yes after looking at it through my other microscope. Then this will turn out to be the 7th different repunch mint mark out of this roll. And because that's so difficult to see, I may have skipped one already. Let's look at the reverse on this one real quick. Okay, nice die scratch in the next to last bay. It's not a north-south die scratch like that other one is. It's a little bit more angled. Let's see, what else do we have? Nice north and south die scratches under the UN of United. That's about it. LDS coins are a little harder to attribute. So that one belongs to Mr. Hampton. I'm running out of room on my table over here. I've got 7 different RPMs sitting out here. This is going to be a nightmare for me. Mr. Hampton gets the next one. And that's another one of those second RPM out of the box. How many of those do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the 7th one. This will be the 7th one of those for Mr. Hampton. I'm barely keeping my stacks together here. They're trying to fall over. All right, next one out of the roll goes to Bingo. Bingo Brian. What do we get for Bingo Brian? Well, that's going to have our die scratch coming up out of the 6-0. Nope, it's a different die. I don't know. It's not the same die. I don't see anything on here, though. So, looks like no ripping for this coin. Or is that maybe, is that the shorter? I gotta look at it up close. Darn it. No, it does not have a line in the center of the mint mark. Okay, so this is not the shorter one that we just pulled. I didn't get a marker off that thing to know exactly what I was doing with those. That's okay, we'll see another one. Just trying to get this thing in focus. Man, this camera is really being cantankerous today. Doesn't want to go in focus. Well, there's some really heavy die scratches over in Liberty. There's one coming off the R to the rim, but it doesn't go through the center of the R. It's a different one. We can use that. Another one for the nose. All right, let's look at the reverse of this one really quick, because I'm not sure we've seen this reverse before. So an LDS coin for sure. Got a really heavy die scratch coming from the O of 1 to the bottom left base. And that's about it for this one. Looks like a normal coin here. We're on coin number 34, and it went to Bingo Brian. Coin number 35 will go to Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams gets coin number 35. Coin number 35 is, so I think this might be one of the ones with the line in the middle of the RPM. Nope, it's not. This one looks odd. Odd in that I don't remember seeing this one. Normal coin. But what could appear to be a different die altogether. Or, yeah. This one's just a different die. Normal die. And in just under 30 minutes, we're going to have another roll opening, but I have to close this video to start that video, so we get 2 different videos. It's going to be a 1959D roll. So I got to get done with this one. I'm going to kind of push through these here real quick. Mr. Adams gets a normal coin out of this roll. Another normal coin for Mr. Adams. But he's also got some RPMs, so doing pretty good. Mr. Dowdle gets the next coin. Ready, Mr. Dowdle? What do we got? Let's see. Looks like it could be a normal coin to me. Appears to be normal. It looks like we have a non-variety. Non-variety. You have a good night, Hoover. And as it appears, no double die on the reverse. So I will have to move on beyond this one. Now, of course, for everyone's benefit, I will be going through these coins again after the show is over so that I can be sure that I didn't miss anything. Mr. Patat gets the next one. Mr. Patat's coin has... let's see. Is it perhaps... I can't see anything going on with the lower serif, but I can see what appears to be an extra vertical line separated right there on the top of the D at the lower half. Hard to tell, though. Hard to tell. All right. Well, I'll know this die next time I run into it. Look at that. It's got a comma above the B. And another one coming down from the B. All right. Nothing else on the obverse. Let me look at the reverse real quick and see what I've got going on here. Not seeing anything on the reverse. Now I'll move on to the next one. And next in line will be Mr. Patat. Perseverance will win. Just not this way, I guess. Well, I suppose we found ourselves another normal coin here. As it appears. This one I got fingerprint on it. Looks strange. Let me flip it over here. Well, that's oddly different. No, wait a minute. We've seen this die before. There's your line coming up to the bottom of the M. We've seen this before. It's just that I didn't recognize it. Okay. This is a normal die. Let me get this one in here. Goes to Mr. Patat. And next is Matting. Matting will get a what do we have here? It's like a normal coin. Bummer. Okay, before my dog explodes of an aneurysm, I'm going to have to go open my door and let him in. Because he's sitting outside my door doing his form of crying. And of course that means he needs to be in here. I'm not exactly sure why. But he does need to be in here. All right, hang on just a moment. You're hitching up my giddy up, dog. What is it with you, huh? No, I'm not going to play with you right now. We don't have time to play right now. Okay. Here we go. Mr. Protect gets the next one. And Mr. Protect gets one of our coins that has the line going through the middle of the mint mark as it appears. I think. Maybe. Let me zoom in on this one. Not really sure what I'm looking at right there. Yep. That's one of the ones that has the shorter line. It's the same die, I believe, as the very last RPM that we had found. So I'll pull it out as a possibility and check it really quickly to make sure it doesn't have any hub doubling of any other kind. Nothing there. Got a hook coming out of the bottom of the B, so that'll be a good marker for this one. I don't remember what we used last time for this marker. But we'll see. I do believe it's an RPM. Of course, everything is based on my second look. When I go back through these coins and I look at them a second time, sometimes I'll find a little scratch that I thought was something, or I will miss something and find it the second time around. He needs Chuck time. He's actually laying here right next to me right now. Levels of Madness gets the next coin. And Levels of Madness gets a, well, what it appears to be a normal coin. Long hooking die scratch over the date. So we got nothing this time around. Looks like we went from fish fry to dry. We got nothing going on here now. Just good the whole roll wasn't dry. I don't know why we suddenly dried up though. We're getting RPM after RPM and then suddenly I don't get anything. It's coin number 41, Levels of Madness. Coin number 42 will go to Bingo. What does Bingo come up with here? There we go. Well, Bingo gets himself yet another one of these RPMs. This is the second one we found in the roll. Yet another example of that. So I'll get this in a flip for Bingo. And stick it on the pile with the rest. Coin number 43 goes to Matting. What do we get for Matting? Oh, Matting gets himself one too. There we go. Same die again. Matting gets one now. I know Matting at least has one RPM out of this because I don't remember another one. I'll stick that on the pile with the rest of them. Draw for the next coin was number 44, belongs to Robert Adams. And Mr. Adams gets skunk. Nothing I see on that one. Let's flip it over and see what we get on the reverse. How about if we put the camera back in focus? All right. And I see nothing on the reverse. My poopy dog really wants some attention. What you doing, Sherman? What's up, buddy? Huh? What you doing, buddy? She got me not remembering what I'm doing. Okay. Normal one. Nope. It has a date on it. Screenshot it, keep it, and then get rid of it. Mr. Dunn. Thank you. Mr. Dunn, please screenshot it. Make sure that I have a chance to look at it later. Hey, Mr. Dunn gets one of those. This is different. This is different. This one's nice. I think this is number 10? Yeah, it's Arabic. I think it's number 10. Is that right? Nice split serifs with a north RPM. It is definitely Arabic. Not the best at it, but I can read it if I get into it. Alright. Penny, tell me which RPM this is. It's got to be one of the first 12. It could be RPM number 12, but I'm not sure. And I got to hit it and move on to the next coin. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coins left in this roll. Mr. Dunn got himself a nice RPM here. That was different from the rest. It is number 12. Okay. Mr. Patak gets the next one. What does Mr. Patak get? Is that... I'm not seeing anything here. Maybe a split upper serif. I don't know. I'll have to pick that out when I go back through. Looks like it could be a split upper serif. Got nothing there that I can see right offhand. Need a hook on aisle 2. Sorry, Yasser, we speak English in here. If you're going to post in here, you need to post in English. Alright, so Mr. Patak gets that one. Next in the roll, Mr. Dowdle. You thought you were done. And you thought you were done. And Mr. Dowdle gets him one. This is one of those ones with the line going straight through the center of the RPM right here. Got a bunch of nifty little lines going on in there. But that is the third die that we found in the roll. There's the line going through the R again. I would agree with the Midnight Silver Run. So Mr. Dowdle gets himself a nice RPM. Another one. It is like Christmas. Bingo gets the next coin. Let's see what Bingo has. Appears that it could be normal. It's kind of hard to tell. These ones that have a later die state, and there's some extra fatness going on around the serifs. Hard for me to tell right now whether this is an RPM or if it's just my imagination. Let's look at the reverse of this one because I'm not sure I've seen this die before. Very light die state. Looking for notching in the corners of the lettering, or I'm looking for any spread to the outer edge of the design. I'm not going to see it anyway because this is too late dice data coin to really tell. It's kind of useless looking at the reverse on that one. I'm going to go to bingo. I will be checking it again prior to shipping it off to make sure of what it is. Matting. Matting gets coin number 49. And coin number 49 is... appears to be normal. Not seeing anything special there. No doubling. No doubled I. What are you doing, Sherman? What are you doing over there, buddy? Why don't you start attributing these coins for me? Get us moved on to the next level here. Not seeing anything on Matting's coin there. And this will be the final coin of the roll. Let's see what we end up with. This one was up against the cardboard at the back end of the roll. And it looks like we have a nothing. There's your die scratch out of the 6-0. So this one's going to be same as another one that we've seen in the past that had nothing on it. Yeah, we have an infiltrator in the room. But the more we ignore, the more it goes away, right? All right. I appreciate it, folks. We're going to be back here in 15 minutes. I do have to take off and prep for the next roll. We do have a large number of die varieties in this. There's 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. We've got 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1. So that's a total of 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 coins. 7 and 9 is 16, 18, 24. Almost half the roll was RPMs. Awesome. All right, folks. It's going to be just a few minutes and I'll be back online. So I'll see you later.